guys, and welcome to Operation Self Reset. As you can see, we're over here in the kitchen because I'm going to be demonstrating to you Bulletproof Coffee. And you're thinking to yourself, what the heck is Bulletproof Coffee? Very good question. Bulletproof Coffee is providing healthy fats such as grass-fed butter and coconut oil, or MCT oil, which is basically kind of a refined coconut oil, into your coffee and or tea. Sounds mind-blowing, correct? Yes. But does it work? It really does, and I want to tell you why. The reason why I know this is because on the podcast, I just got done interviewing Dave Asprey, and he is from the Bulletproof Executive. Basically, Dave has, over the last 5-10 years, has taken about $250,000 and invested it back into himself. He did a lot of personal research, he did a lot of personal traveling, and he found and researched a lot of different things that are going on around the world. And one thing that he came across, over there in Europe, there was these people that would take yak butter and add it to green tea. And so when he started looking at that, he was starting to go, okay, this is really weird, they're putting butter in tea, I don't get it. So he started talking to these people and starting to figure out that the reason why that they're putting the butter into their tea is because the butter is that fat, that natural, just delicious fat that your body craves to put it in the tea, which allows you to be energized. And when it mixes together, it gives you kind of almost a complete meal that will sustain your energy for about 6 to 8 hours. So he started talking more and more to these people and getting different ideas. So he decided to incorporate this yak butter tea into our American way of drinking in the morning, which is coffee. So he called this the Bulletproof Coffee. Now Dave Asprey at his website, bulletproofexecutive.com, has his own personal types of coconut oil, coffee beans, and MCT oil. But I want to show you the kind of generic way to start your day on a very low budget. I did interview Dave Asprey on the podcast, Operation Self Reset. You can go check it out on iTunes. There's going to be a link below, and it'll tell you where to go from there. So here we go. I'm going to just kind of forewarn you, you will be putting in butter into your coffee. So let's get started. Alright, so this is the tools that you're going to need. Using some Altera coffee. It's really good, organic, natural, delicious, delicious. Great coffee, highly recommend it. Also too, you have your traditional green tea. You can use loose tea, you can use black tea, green tea, whatever. So moving along here, as you can see, we're going to be using some type of steeping device in the background, and then the three kind of highlighting tools that we're going to be using here. Carrie's Gold unsalted butter. We're going to be using coconut oil or MCT oil. Dave Asprey from the Bulletproof Executive highly suggests you use MCT oil. MCT oil is almost like coconut oil, but on steroids, to kind of make it very simple. So, and also too, we're going to need some type of blending device. As you see, I have a Vitamix blender, and also too, I have a hand immersion blender. And of course, we need some hot water. First thing we need to do to make our bulletproof coffee and or tea is obviously get some hot water going. Alright, so now we have our our hot water all ready to go. I'm going to pour it over our 2 tea bags. Let that steep between 2 to 3 minutes because that is green tea. And then also too, I'm going to take some of the coffee beans that are ground up, add some to my liking, and add hot water. And let that steep again between 3, 4, or however long you feel is necessary for your coffee. Alright, so our coffee and tea has stopped brewing, okay? So I'm going to start with the tea. We're going to make some bulletproof tea real quick, alright? The process goes for either or. So we're going to put on the steeper here and just make sure the tea bags aren't going to spill into our container. Now I'm using a bigger type of container, and why is that? Because I'm actually, for this application, I'm going to be using a hand blender, okay? So I can stick it in, it can spill a little bit, it's not going to get all over the place, and it's a lot easier and more proficient than using a spoon or even one of these little kind of like whisk things for cappuccinos or whatever. The reason why you want to really blend it is because you really want to break up the fats that are in the MCT oil and also too in the Carrie's Gold butter. So let's pour in our green tea. Pour it all in. you go. Okay. And now, because this might be your first time trying Bulletproof Coffee, we're only going to use about a pad, which is about a tablespoon, a little less than a tablespoon of butter, okay? So I'm going to eyeball this, but if you want to be exact, you can go for it, okay? So I'm going to add 1 pad or tablespoon here of butter. Now this is organic, grass-fed, imported butter. This isn't a traditional local grocery store, salted, using hormones to make the cows, produce more milk so they can produce more butter. This is like the natural of the natural, the purest form of butter that you want to eat. And the reasoning for that is because your body is used to this types of fat. It's not processed. There's nothing in it that will make your body store it for later use. You want this butter to be dissolved instantly and used for energy, not for storage for a later time. So you're going to just add that directly into your tea. Now, because we're not going to use the coconut oil, but feel free to use coconut oil. This is 365 brand. Try to get the virgin coconut oil. It tastes really good. It smells really tropical. So if you're into that, have at it. But today we're going to be using MCT oil. MCT oil has the healthy fats that allows your liver to break down fats more easily and also to use that for energy, just like in the butter. So that's why they go hand in hand. So we're going to add about a little less than a tablespoon of that and just dump it right on in. Now, of course, when you first look at this, you're going to be like, my gosh, how is this supposed to mix? This looks horrible. Why am I doing this to myself? Give it a try and it's worth it. All right, so there you kind of go. I don't know if you're able to see that. It looks like almost the BP oil spill down there in the Gulf Coast, right? Everything's floating on top. So, but let's start with putting our blender in and let's plug it in first, because you know what? The last thing you want to do is not plug it in and then throw it across the room. So here we go. So we're going to blend it up. And what you're trying to get to is like a frothy kind of consistency. So there you go. It's really blended up really nice. And I'm going to turn it off now. So there you go. You can kind of see how the consistency of it, it's blended up really nice. You kind of have a frothy little top. And now I'm going to get a glass and pour it in so you guys can see how it looks. That was more of a lofty kind of thing. So there you go. Very cream, very rich, and very freaking hot. Woo! That is a hot potato right there. So there you go. That's what it's supposed to look like. Obviously, you don't want to wait too long for this to settle because it will separate. So right now it's blended up really good. The butter is adhered to the green tea and also the caffeine that's inside of the tea. So your body is going to crave this. It's going to be delicious and you're really going to be energized. So that's the green tea. So now let's move on to the coffee side, which most of you guys are probably going to try. And hence the name, Bulletproof Coffee. I know. So here we go, kind of same thing. We're going to steep it, put that on top, and actually I'm going to be using my Vitamix 5200 Classic Blender. I love this thing. If you guys, I'm also going to be making a video about green smoothies. That's what I have every morning. I usually have a cup of Bulletproof Coffee around mid-morning. So let's pour in the coffee first. Kind of the same thing, every drop, every morsel. There you go. And again, because this is a little more than 1 cup of green tea, I'm actually going to be adding a little more butter. I know it sounds ridiculous, but again, give it a try. Do your own personal research on it. If you don't believe me, that's fine. Again, this butter is 100% organic, natural, no preservatives, there's no hormones in it, so your body is getting the most purest form of fat, which it uses to burn for energy. Alright, so we're going to put that big old chunk in there. And then also, too, we're going to put in 2 tablespoons here of MCT oil, just because this is a larger glass, and whoa, and you want it to splash all over. So, actually, I'm going to put in a little half. Yeah, because I'm crazy. So there we go. Put that in the sink, get the lid, all that fun stuff. Bring out the workhorse, the Vitamix. If you guys don't know what this is, again, go online, research it. Also, to look for some more videos because they're going to be coming. So this thing is awesome. So let's turn it on. It's chopping off that butter right now. And I'm going to crank it up here. And this thing even has one more motor. Whoa! Again, you don't need a huge Vitamix for just making this blended coffee, but I'm just kind of giving you different variations. Let me get a glass for this guy. And the same thing. Just pour it in. And enjoy. Now again, you're looking for the frothy kind of topping there a little bit. Good consistency. Obviously it's blended up like no other. And just down it down and you will have energy for about 6 or 8 hours. So there you guys go. Blended butter, MCT oil, or use coconut oil, whatever you choose. This is the Bulletproof Coffee and Bulletproof Tea. Use whatever kind of coffee, whatever type of tea, loose leaf, bagged, whatever. Enjoy. Give it a try one time. If you hate it, that's totally fine. And also, too, if you don't believe my research, I highly suggest you go to bulletproofexecutive.com. And also, too, check out my podcast with Dave Asprey, who kind of invented the Bulletproof Coffee, at Operation Self Reset on iTunes. And also, too, feel free to go to my website, operationselfreset.com. And there is a coupon on there for 10% off of all Dave Asprey's personal collection of coffee beans, MCT oil, and other products. So please enjoy, drink to your health, and we'll catch you in the next video. Woo! That's good and hot.